Study Session 7, Group Decisions. Introduction. Once a group has formed, with roles and some degree of cohesiveness, it begins to make decisions and take actions. The issues faced by groups range from the trivial to the profound. Whatever the issue, the attitudes of group members affect what they do. In this study session, we will examine one of the major functions of groups, which is to make decisions. Learning outcomes. When you have studied this session, you should be able to discuss how groups make decisions and explain process laws. How groups make decisions. Most groups consist of individuals who hold roughly similar views. People are attracted to groups that share their attitudes, and those who disagree with a group usually leave by their own choice or are ejected by the others. Is it true that two or more heads are better than one? Most of us assume the answer is yes. A lone individual may be subject to all sorts of whims and biases, whereas several people together can exchange ideas, catch each other's errors, and reach better decisions. We have all taken part in group decisions in which we listen to someone else and thought to ourselves, that's a really good point. I never would have thought of that. In general, groups will do better than individuals. Sometimes, though, two or more heads are not better than one, or at least no better than two heads working done. Inhibitions to group decision making. Process laws. This is any aspect of group interaction that inhibits problem solving. One problem is that a group will do well only if the most talented members can convince the others that he or she is right, which is not always easy, given that many of us bear a strong resemblance to mules when it comes to admitting we are wrong. You undoubtedly know what it's like to try to convince a group to follow your idea, be faced with opposition and disbelief, and then have to sit there and watch the group make the wrong decision. Process laws can occur for a number of reasons. Groups might not try hard enough to find out who the most competent member is, and instead rely on someone who really doesn't know what he or she is talking about. The most competent member might find it difficult to disagree with everyone else in the group. Other causes of process loss involve communication problems within the group. People don't listen to each other. In other groups, one person is allowed to dominate the discussion while the others time out. Group polarization. Group decisions can also be marred by group polarization. Group polarization occurs when a powerful member shifts others' opinions by might rather than by right. The tendency of groups to make decisions that are more extreme than the initial inclinations of its members is known as group polarization. Three processes are usually emphasized in the creation of group polarization. They are examined below. 1. According to persuasive argument theory, the greater the number and persuasiveness of the argument to which members are exposed, the more extreme their attitudes become. Some arguments provide new information to group members, having them for the first time. If most group members favor a decision to be cautious, for example, most of the arguments deployed will favor caution, giving the members more and more reasons why it is right to be cautious. In addition, realizing that others favor caution Members may focus on pro-caution arguments that may also be important to consider. Simply hearing others repeat our arguments without offering new ones can validate our own reasoning, giving us more confidence in what may originally have been only a slight learning. 2. Group polarization is also created as group members discover other people's opinions, even if no arguments. Another interesting example of process laws. This is the tendency for groups to focus on what its members already know in common, failing to discuss information that only some members have. In any group, members share common knowledge, but also know unique things not shared by other members. In sum, the tendency for groups to fail to share important information known to only some of the members can be overcome if people learn who is responsible for what kinds of information and take the time to discuss this unshared data presented. Here, social comparison is at work. Individuals develop their new Here, social comparison is at work. Individuals develop their social reality by comparing themselves with others. The construction of social reality is like-minded group. Take 2. The construction of social reality in like-minded groups is a two-step process. First, people discover more support for their own opinion than they had originally anticipated. Second, this discovery sets up a new, more extreme norm and motivates group members to go beyond that norm. If believing X is good, then believing double X is even better. By adopting a more extreme position, people can distinguish themselves in the group in a manner approved by the group. 3. In addition, group polarization is influenced by a concept called social categorization. This is the tendency for people to categorize themselves and others in terms of social groups. The social categorization approach compares how individuals react to information from in-groups, open bracket, to which they belong or want to belong, close bracket, and out-groups, open bracket, to which they don't belong and don't want to, close bracket. In group, members may want to distinguish their group from other groups, and so they overestimate the extremity of their group position and distance themselves from the position of an out group. Group decision. Groupthink. Groupthink is another means by which decision making can go awry. Groupthink refers to the tendency of people who try to solve problems together to accept one another's information and ideas without subjecting them to critical analysis. This study session discusses another means by which decision-making can go amiss. Decision-making in heterogeneous versus homogeneous groups are also discussed. The negative effect of heterogeneous groups are also highlighted. Groupthink emerges when the need for agreement takes priority over the motivation to obtain accurate information and make appropriate decisions. According to Janis, 1982, members of a group are most likely to fall into groupthink when they are especially close. In such instances, rather than realistically thinking through a problem, members are more concerned with agreeing with one another. Janis, 1982, believed that 3 characteristics contribute to the development of groupthink. These are: 1. Since highly cohesive groups are more likely to reject members with deviant opinions, Janis thought that they would be more susceptible to groupthink. 2. Group structure is also important. Groups that are composed of people from similar backgrounds, isolated from other people, directed by a strong leader, and lacking in systematic procedures for making and reviewing decisions should be particularly likely to fall prey to groupthink. 3. Finally, Janice emphasized that stressful situations can provoke groupthink. Under stress, urgency can overrule accuracy, and the reassuring support of other group members becomes highly desirable. Using real-world events, Janice, 1972-1982, developed an influential theory of group decision-making that he called groupthink, a kind of thinking in which maintaining group cohesiveness and solidarity is more important than considering the facts in a realistic manner. According to Janice's theory, groupthink is most likely to occur when certain preconditions are met, such as when the group is highly cohesive, isolated from contrary opinions, and ruled by a directive leader who makes his or her wishes known. When these preconditions of groupthink are met, several symptoms appear. The group begins to feel that it is invulnerable and can do no wrong. People do not voice contrary views, in bracket, they exercise self-censorship, close bracket, because they are afraid of ruining the group's high morale or because they fear being criticized by the others. Symptoms of groupthink. Illusion of invulnerability. The group feels it is invincible and can do no wrong belief in the moral correctness of the group. God is on our side. Stereotyped view of outgroup. Opposing sides are viewed in a simplistic stereotype manner. Self-censorship. People decide themselves not to voice out contrary opinions so as not to rock the boat. Direct pressure on dissenters to conform. If people do voice out contrary opinions, they are pressured by others to conform to the majority. Illusion of unanimity. An illusion is created that everyone agrees, for example, by not calling on people known to disagree man guards. Group members protect the leader from contrary viewpoints. Avoiding the groupthink trap. A wise leader can take several steps to ensure that his or her group is immune to the groupthink style of decision making. 1. Remain impartial. The leader should not take a directive role but should remain impartial. 2. Seek outside opinions. The leader should invite outside opinions from people who are not members of the group and who are thus less concerned with maintaining group cohesiveness. 3. Create subgroups. The leader should divide the group into subgroups that first meet separately and then meet together to discuss their different recommendations. 4. Seek anonymous opinions. The leader might also take a secret ballot or ask group members to write down their opinions, anonymously doing so. The leaders might also take a secret ballot or ask group members to write down their opinions. Anonymously doing so would ensure that people give their true opinions, uncensored by a fear of recrimination from the group. Heterogeneous and homogeneous group. The variety of people in a group may also affect its decision-making process and performance. In general, as a group becomes more heterogeneous, it communicates less effectively, and subgroups of similar members may form. causing non-similar members to feel alienated. Some of the negative effects of heterogeneous groups can be minimized in the following ways. 1. Educating members about their similarities and differences, leading to recategorization by increasing a sense of the group as a team. That is, creating an us. 2. Increasing social skills among members. And 3. Teaching members conflict resolution skills. Although heterogeneity can create some group conflict, it can also have a positive effect on the group's performance because of the increased innovation and flexibility that diversity brings to a group. Study session summary. In this study session, we explored how groups make decisions. Group decisions can be marred by group polarization and groupthink. We also highlighted the challenges of process loss and how to resolve it. End of study session 7. Thank you for listening.